everyone. My name is Kim.
My name is Jason.
And this is Intro Skippers, the podcast about an entertainer and an entertainment journalist who love things that are entertaining, and we're talking about it. Yeah, I changed up the intro a little bit.
Whoa, you changed it up completely.
Changers.
I am flabbergasted, but I like it.
Good. So today's topic that we are excited about, if you are a George R.R. Martin head, this may be the show for you. If you haven't been happy with House of the Dragon's recent direction, this may be a show for you. If you like Game of Thrones original stuff, maybe the smaller moments, this show might be for you. If you like Lord of the Rings, but you don't like the Rings of Power so much, I guess you're just not vibing with it, maybe the show is for you. We are talking about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is based on the Duncan Egg novels. The first novella is called A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and it has premiered on HBO Max. And guess what? I loved it.
I also loved it. In fact, I can't wait for the next episode. Kind of loved it.
Same.
When's it coming? I mean, I know when it's coming,
Sunday.
but still, like, I'm like, so good.
Well, enjoy it while it lasts. It's only 6 episodes, and apparently each episode is between the 30 to 40 minute range. This is a much smaller scope of a show than Game of Thrones, and perhaps that makes it clear in the opening scene, which is a diarrhea scene. I agree with George Railroad, because he has said maybe that scene wasn't necessary, and I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, okay, are they setting the stage to me on what this show is going to be like? Is there going to be a lot of toilet humor, etc.? In the behind the scenes mini thing that they put at the end, the showrunner was like, I hope people forgive us for that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe you didn't have to do that. But
well, I mean, I know what they're doing with it. The point is to say, this is not Game of Thrones. This is not House of the Dragon. We're not dealing with who is going to be on the Iron Throne. We're not dealing with complicated monarchical strategies and whatnot. This is a quieter and smaller show. Did you have to do that with explosive diarrhea, though? Did I need to see that from our guy right away? But I actually watched it again and ignored that scene, and I liked Dunk a lot more. So we open on Dunk burying Sir Arlen, who was the knight he trained under as a squire. And he immediately, I think his first line is, I don't know the words. A septum should be, like, he's saying, I don't know what to do, basically.
A septum should be here, but you always took care of me and never beat me unless I deserved it,
except that time.
Yeah. But then it showed him getting slapped a bunch of times, so I don't know.
Well, I think what we're seeing here is Dunk he's not a sophisticated man. He doesn't know things. He doesn't understand the rules of heraldry and who is the ruling house and what fealty is pledging and blah, blah, blah. He is just a simple, good man. And I think what we're going to see is, does goodness matter if you don't have power attached to it? Or maybe being a good man or a good person is an act of defiance in this world where it's all scheming and strategy and plotting and setup and double crossing and what have you. All I know is he's exactly the kind of character I love. I figured it out why I like him so much. One, this is the kind of character I always love, which is someone who is purely good and needs someone to protect them. And I always want to protect these people.
Yeah.
You know, someone who likes you or could like you let's just say Egg is the stand-in. Even though you don't have anything to offer them, you have nothing to give them, or they have nothing to gain from liking you. Those are the best people in the world. But here's the real reason why I like him. He reminds me of Samwise Gamgee.
Oh, I can see that.
Right?
Yeah.
But
I can totally see that. Samwise Gamgee, if he was 7 feet tall and a badass.
Which is, okay, you're not going to like this, but I think he's the only likable character in Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, that's I don't know if I like
I know you
that.
don't like that.
I'm not sure
I-
about that.
I know this is a beloved thing that everyone likes, but to me, it's a fantasy story, and I don't hold it in the same esteem. I think I vibe with it just less than most people do, to be
Lord of the
honest.
Rings, you're talking about.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay. And do you mean the books and the many screen adaptations?
I'm referring to only the screen adaptations.
Okay. Have you read the
Yeah.
books?
Nope.
Okay. Well, you might feel differently then, but
I think I would.
for another
I think
time.
I would. This is one of the few properties where I only interact with it in this one way, and it's not a big thing for me.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stay calm because we're talking about a Knight of Seven Kingdoms, and I'm going to just make a small note that maybe we should discuss that on another episode. And we can move on from there.
I'm sorry I angered you. I knew I would.
No, it's okay. I'm not angered. I'm just disappointed. No, I'm not.
Oh no, that's even worse.
Yeah, I'm not even disappointed. I feel like I've got to show you the light.
Oh boy.
But
Okay.
that could be another series, to be honest. That could be
that's a new
another podcast. Yeah, get Kim to like Lord of the Rings. But anyway.
Well, you forgot how spiteful I am, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah, true. No. Back to A Knight of Seven Kingdoms. Yeah, what? And I do love your comparison to Sam. That's actually a really great comparison. And look, George R.R. Martin loves J.R.R. Tolkien. I mean, he put 2 R's in his name, I think, on purpose.
He did do that. That's actually, he was born George R. Martin. And the second R, I think, is his dad's first name, which was Randall. Could be wrong. That's what I think it is, off the top of the dome.
So clearly there's much love for Tolkien from George. So maybe he was thinking, Sam should have his own series. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I could maybe text somebody and try to find out, but that's also another show. But really, there is a goodness to this character that I hope doesn't get tainted either. Mm-hmm. This world. I had a question too for you. Do you think that because we've had 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, because we've had 2 seasons of House of the Dragon?
I think we have 6 of Game of Thrones, right?
No, I think it's 8. I'm pretty sure it's 8.
Really? Let me look it up.
Yeah, because...
No, you're right. Cut that out.
No, we're keeping it. We're keeping it.
All right, fine. I was wrong.
It's okay.
Not about Sam.
A lot of people want to forget season 7 and 8, so I totally get it. Especially people have a lot of problems with season 8.
That might be it.
Mm-hmm. So we'll just go with that. But is this the kind of show that someone could enjoy not knowing the lore? Because clearly we know the lore here. We know the world. It's been very well established. When someone talks about King's Landing, we know what they're talking about. We know it's the capital. When someone talks about when we meet Sir Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm, and we know that he's the ancestor of the guy that's going to become king 80 or so years later. So is this the kind of show that if we had no knowledge of Game of Thrones at all, could someone enjoy it?
I really want to say yes, because our point of view character also doesn't understand anything. He knows nothing. He doesn't understand the big world. He's very much a small folk. Mm-hmm. And I think it's refreshing to have a story that's from this point of view, not only because it's pure, but because it doesn't need to involve the bigger story of Game of Thrones. I think that's just bonus. That's all just bonus.
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, there's the task of adapting this story is much different than adapting Game of Thrones and even House of the Dragon, and that its source material focuses on one point of view. And I think we might get 2 in this show, Dunk and Egg. But the books are from Dunk's point of view. Whereas George has kind of written himself into a mess with Game of Thrones, and you can tell that because he is not want to finish it right now. We're not going to get into that, but it's just a very complicated web of different narratives and different narrators. And even House of the Dragon comes from different narrators. So at this point, George has had a pretty fraught relationship with Ryan Condal, who is the showrunner of House of the Dragon. Things did not end well with Benioff and Weiss with Game of Thrones.
Right.
But he seems very hot on Ira Parker, who is the showrunner for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And that's probably because he's doing a very faithful adaptation. And, if we look at House of the Dragon, they're very much not doing a faithful adaptation. You could argue because it's harder, but the fact of the matter is it's not the same. So George is very friendship with Ryan over. Ira is my best friend now. That one meme. And I hope that continues and it's not a pattern where just George starts to really dislike and distrust showrunners of his adaptations.
Right, I know. I'm sure it's probably hard to not do that. But yeah, he's been pretty vocal about how this is a very faithful adaptation to his vision of the books. And I almost want to say in one interview, did he say he's not, I don't know if he said he's not allowed on the set anymore of House of the Dragon, but that he won't go anymore.
What I had seen was that HBO told him, don't send Ryan any more notes. You go through us and we'll give the notes to Ryan. So it seems like that relationship is very frosty at this point.
Yeah.
No longer a friendly collaboration.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope it stays up. And I've also heard that George R. Martin wanted to write more Dunk and Egg novellas. And if this excites him to do it, please, because maybe the answer is don't write Winds of Winter now. Why don't you write Dunk and Egg if you feel a joy for it and inspiration for it? And then maybe once the engine is warm, you can work on other projects. But just focus on maybe this right now.
The timeline, so that people are aware, this actually takes place about 80 or 90 years before Game of Thrones, right? And then about
It's 80 years after House of the Dragon and 100 years before Game of Thrones.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would Sir Lionel Baratheon be Robert's maybe like great grandfather, depending on how generations go there?
I don't want to look it up because I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but if you Google any of the names in this show, you will be spoiled to high hell, which is what has happened to me. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say he's an ancestor. Yeah. If that's an unbroken chain of succession, maybe a brother along the way became the seat of power for the Baratheon house. I don't know, but he's definitely an ancestor of Robert Baratheon.
Right. Yeah. And either a great uncle or a great grandfather, who knows? But but you're right. I wouldn't recommend Googling this either because you get spoiled immediately on some things. And even though we're all about spoilers, we're not about spoilers for an episode that hasn't come out yet. We're only about spoilers for what we're talking about right now, which is episode 1 of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
I do know where this story should rightfully end. I won't be mentioning it, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing. Just don't Google anyone. Don't Google like, who is this guy? What does he do? Is this person a Targaryen? What's the situation with that? Because you will find out everything, and I'm not sure you want to. Speaking of, how much do you know about Egg?
Not much. I mean, I know, unfortunately, what I Googled and found out, but I do know that in this show, in episode 1, he just appears to be the son of the innkeeper.
No, he's an orphan boy.
Oh, right. But she called...
Is that your mother? And he goes, no. And,
but she did call him... She did say, when Duncan walked in, didn't she say, is my boy out there or is my son out there? So
my boy.
Did she adopt
him? My boy could
him?
mean anything. No, it can mean like the stable boy,
No, that's true. Yeah.
The boy who runs errands for me and stuff. But essentially, how do I wrap this up quickly? Dunk is burying his knight who he was squire to. He takes his sword and his horses and his money and he thinks, maybe I could be a knight. Fits my hand as well as it does ever fit his. And he decides to go to a tourney at Ashford Meadow that is known to be happening. And along the way, he stops at an inn. He runs into a bald young boy who wants to be his squire. He says no. He goes to the tourney. He can't enter the tourney because no one knows who he is or who his knight was, and he needs someone to vouch for him. He hasn't
Right.
found anyone to vouch for him yet. He accidentally goes to the fancy party of Sir Lionel Baratheon, who takes a liking to him, to this pure soul. There's a great dance scene. There's a great puppetry scene. And young Egg seems to have followed him anyway and is insistent upon being his squire. He's done all the squire work for him. And eventually Dunk says, okay. And I thought that scene was very sweet when he takes him on.
Oh, very much so.
I don't have much, but you'll always have food in your belly and clothes on your back. And it might be bad, but it'll be there.
Yeah.
That was so sweet. And I think the best scene, well, my nominee for best scene is the falling star scene. So they're lying out in the field because Dunk is a hedge knight, which is basically a poor knight, or in Dunk's opinion, the purest of knights. And they see a shooting star go by, or a falling star. And Egg says a falling star brings luck to see. Egg says a falling star brings luck to those who see it. And then eventually Dunk follows up with, so the luck is ours alone, because the rest of the men are looking at the roofs
Of their tents.
roofs of their tent, the silks of their tent. And the second time I watched this, I almost cried. It was so warm and small and sweet.
I got to watch it again.
Yeah.
Just because I want more of it. And so the only thing I can do until Sunday is watch it again. I just thought of something quite humorous to me anyway. I think it will be grown. It'll be a groan for you. But what's a hedge knight?
I don't know.
A freelancer. Get it? Knights have lances and they don't work for one specific. Never mind. Okay. That could be where the term freelancer came from.
That's what I am.
I mean, that's what I am too. Yeah. That could be the term.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I really loved this. I loved how focused it was and how small and sweet it was, and how the economy of focusing on just maybe two protagonists, one at this point. I did notice, though, that Dunk seems to talk to himself or his horse quite a lot.
True. And I wonder if that's just exposition for us, the audience, and will that dissipate later? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Where we get an insight as to what his personality is, basically, which is he has a pretty strong and rigid sense of goodness, though it's also pretty naive as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we look at someone like Egg, he's a bit more cutting. He's a bit more witty, I would say. Someone who's maybe had a much better education.
Right. Not to hint that he might be.
Oh, everyone knows. Come on.
Who he's not revealed himself to
Egg
be yet.
is a Targaryen. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Through the materials, the marketing materials that have come out.
From everything we know too about Game of Thrones and hiding Targaryens, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. But that is not to say that this is necessarily a big story about the Targaryen line of succession and who will manipulate the other and blah, blah, blah. This is the story of a knight and a squire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I understand it's already been renewed for a second season.
Be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been one episode, but I had a great time.
Game of Thrones was renewed before the first episode ever came out. Mm-hmm. Like HBO saw episode 1 and was like, all right, you're getting a second season no matter what. So I feel like maybe that's happening here too. I hope it is.
I hope so too. I really enjoyed it. I would like to see the world from a smaller point of view. And you know what? We really didn't, because when we were reviewing House of the Dragon and I was talking about it on other shows and Game of Thrones on other shows, I would always think, why does no one care about the small folk? Why does no one care? They're just dragon fodder. They're like nothing. No one is seeing their humanity. No one cares about them. We are focusing on the 1%, as usual, Lord of the Rings. And I want to see what the smaller people do.
Hobbits are not what the 1%.
Everyone but Sam is a 1%er in that group that went to go get the ring. Yes.
I'm thinking
Mary
about it.
comes from money. Frodo is a Baggins.
Yeah, crap, you're right.
All of them. Sam is the only normal income person.
Even Pippin comes from like a very prominent house.
That's right. That's why Sam rules. One of the reasons why Sam rules. Also potatoes and hatred of Gollum.
But like I said, if you read the books, you might feel differently. There's a lot of non-1%ers in the books that they probably had to edit out for time.
I'm not saying everybody sucks. I'm saying Sam is clearly far and away the best character and the only one worth sticking with.
Okay, fair.
And you're not happy.
if we didn't have Sam, the ring wouldn't have been destroyed. Like nothing would have happened. He is the true hero of the story for sure.
And that's why we can inflect that love onto Dunk, who is the true hero of this story, I assume. I don't know where it's going yet, but it seems like he is of pure heart and soul.
From everything that I've seen that they've shown us of this character, he's going to be a nice, fun, pure character that we're going to root for, I believe.
I do know in the book, he's supposed to be 16 years old at this time. I think it's been changed because he does not look 16.
No. And for whatever reason, in the book, he's supposed to be 7 feet tall. The actor, Peter Claffey, is 6'5", which is friggin' huge. But and I did notice that they did some fun angles where they do make him look 7 feet tall. I mean, you can take a 6'5" actor and make him look 7 feet tall. It's on screen. It's not going to be that hard. But I noticed in the dancing scene,
I love the dancing scene.
Yeah, but he's almost the Sir Lionel's almost as tall as him in the dancing scene. Yeah, he's not really like
I think
hulking
Sir
over.
Lionel is supposed to be big, even though the actor who plays him is, not hulking. He's more like svelte. And slim.
Right.
But I loved the Lionel and Dunk meeting. And apparently that was not in the book. Lionel doesn't appear until later.
Oh, okay.
But I love them together. And I love that scene where Dunk was like, look, if I lose, I'm going to lose my horse. I can't afford to get anything back. For you, it's just like, whatever, because you have everything. You have a name. You have money. You have years of training. This is nothing to you. But to me, it's everything.
Yeah. And of course, as the audience, you're expecting Sir Lionel to be like, well, let me vouch for you. Well, come work for me. Well, come fight for me. And of course, just like real life, he goes, well, I'm too drunk to even think
Good
about
luck,
this.
Buddy.
Goodbye. Yeah.
We'll see him again, but I really liked his portrayal. I really loved the dancing that showed like kind of their different vibes. Like Dunk is going like big guy dancing, and then Lionel is just.
Yeah, Lionel's dancing almost had like a cool like Russian or like a whirling dervish vibe to it or something.
Yeah, he was so like full of life and big. I had heard the inspiration for that scene was Fiddler on the Roof.
Okay.
And
I totally see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But I just liked how Dunk looked like a little nervous and was like doing the big guy thing. I thought it was a good way to quickly show us what are these guys like? What are they about? Because I think the budget on the show is also a lot lower than it was for Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon.
I wonder, and I'm assuming that even though the budget's smaller, if they wanted access to some of the great sets that are still around, they probably could work that out.
I hope so.
If it's all owned by HBO. So you could be like, well, you built this giant thing for House of the Dragon. Can we use it for this little scene?
Well, I don't know if they'll be shooting on the volume like House of the Dragon did. Or, I mean, this is also the age of no dragons.
True.
So House of the Dragon, for a little context table setting at the end of this episode, because this is where it belongs.
Yeah.
We are under Darren the Good, King Darren the Good. The Age of Dragons and the symbol of the Targaryen power is extinct, though there are people who remember the Age of Dragons, such as people maybe around Sir Arlen's age. So he's probably told Dunk about seeing the dragon in his youth.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not unheard of, like in Game of Thrones, where they're like, dragons, they're not real. Those are legends. But there are people alive who have seen dragons at this point, though we will not see a dragon probably, if it stays faithful, I think, because that kind of blows the big reveal with Dany later, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. Unless they go across the sea or something and there's a dragon over there, like who knows?
Oh, also, King Darren is the one who has established relations with Dorne and has married a Martell. So Dorne, being part of the world of Westeros, Westerosi proper, is new in this world. And I believe the Blackfire Rebellion is in recent memory, though it hasn't been brought up yet.
Okay.
I think.
And the Blackfire Rebellion is when there were some like Targaryen, like a split of a line where there was a Targaryen line that wanted power.
Yes. This is post Daemon Targaryen as we know him in Get House of the Dragon. It's from Daemon Blackfire, who's a different Daemon, just to be clear.
Right.
And he wanted to claim the throne after his father legitimized his bastard children. Oh yeah, Daemon Blackfire is a bastard. And there's a whole Targaryen, another civil war, basically. There sure are a lot of civil wars in this line.
Yeah. But to quote Axl Rose, what's so civil about war anyway?
So true.
Well, I know this episode's a little bit short, but I feel like we've only seen one episode, so I don't know how much more we could dig in without.
I will say I'm looking very much forward, and I do appreciate how much work and craftsmanship went into this episode of doing a lot with an economy of money and time, and keeping the story small and a different scope than we've ever seen before. I like this. I want this to keep going and going. I want it to complete its story, and I want George to make the story longer.
I agree. And maybe we can do a check-in at the end of season 1 and talk about the whole season, perhaps.
Well, it's only in 6 weeks, so we certainly can, and we'll still remember everything.
Yeah. Well, like I did with Game of Thrones and like I do with almost every show that I really like, Succession, even a few others that I may or may not mention, I always watch every episode twice. So you're ahead of me on that, but I will be watching every episode twice of the show.
Hell yeah. No, I'm on board. I have seen some mixed reactions from people, but I definitely want to recommend this to you, even if you aren't having so much fun with the rest of the Game of Thrones properties. I think the way this is told and what the story is something so delightful and reminiscent of the best parts of Game of Thrones for sure, but fantasy in general.
Mm-hmm. And if you've never seen Game of Thrones and don't know much about the lore or the world, I think the story still does stand on its own.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Sorry to interrupt you, but yes, hard agree. You can get into this. It's not intimidating. And, low lift. The episodes are short and the season will be short. You can do it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We have lectured you enough on what you should be watching.
Yes, but one where we both wholeheartedly agree. This is not a Gentleman Broncos situation. This is it's a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms situation.
Why did you bring up that movie?
Because I kind of liked it and you hated it. So I was just thinking of ones that, we both didn't necessarily agree on.
Uh-huh. Go back into the back catalog to listen to a movie I did not like.
All righty.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Intro Skippers with Jason Charles Miller and Kim Horcher is produced and edited by Kim Horcher and Jason Charles Miller. The name order doesn't really matter. Additional writing by Kim Horcher. Theme song and incidental music by Jason Charles Miller. Take it away, me. You can rate and review this show, 5 stars only please, anywhere you'd like, and you might find your review read on a future episode. Got a question? Email us at introskipperspod@gmail.com. That too could be featured on a future episode. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Intro Skippers on your favorite podcast platform, but preferably one we're actually on. Alright, thanks for getting this far. Here's a special treat just for you. I'm gonna stop talking.